The first year of marriage is really the hardest, according to relationship experts, even if you've already lived together.
In fact, it doesn't often matter if you've been together for multiple years, as the beginning of a married life can be very tricky.
According to statistics, almost 50% of first marriages, 60% of second marriages, and 73% of third marriages end in divorce.
As at the time of shooting this video, we're almost 4 years in marriage, and we want to share with you how we handled our first year of marriage. From some research we have done here are some of the reasons why marriage is hard in the first year. The first reason is the stress of planning and having the wedding ceremony itself.
The second reason why the first year of marriage is usually very difficult is because the couples are poor at resolving conflict.
The third reason that many marriages fall apart in their first year is the challenge that comes with staying together.
Infidelity is another reason why marriage can be hard in the first year. Another reason that can make marriages fall apart in the first year is family and friends interference, especially if you were not in support of the marriage in the first place.
The sixth and last reason we're bringing in this video for the strain on the first year of marriage is finances. So now we've listed 6 problems, and this is how we handled each of them practically. So for the stress of the wedding, what we did is that in between the time I proposed and the time we got married, it was about a year period. This gave us enough time to be able to move at our pace, because we had a lot of challenges. There's a video we did about how we got married with a salary less than $400 monthly. So that helped us to be able to handle the financial limitations we had. And then I was a medical doctor working in 2 hospitals, and sometimes even adding a third job. The schedule was very demanding. That gave me a little time to be able to really breathe properly.
And I was serving at that time, so I would report to my PPA. It was in a hospital, go for CDS. So the stretch made it easy for me to be able to handle my client in the hospital. We pushed it to the time that I was concluding my NYSC, so that I'll be free from NYSC wahala.
In between the activities, we had enough time to be able to breathe and then continue. It's not when you marry, it's how you marry. So give yourself time to be able to breathe. I know a couple that had courted for about 6 years, and part of the reason why the courtship took this long, they finally married though, is because of some of the challenges, finances, distance, some other logistics like that. If you force yourself with the stress, it can really have an effect in your marriage.
Also, we didn't do a big wedding.
No.
We worked with our budget, and there was no need of borrowing money just to do a very big wedding.
We did our wedding according to our size,
according to our budget, our pockets.
Then another thing too we did was we worked together as a team. It was our wedding and our marriage, so the main plan came from the 2 of us. There's something I usually tell people now that get married, that if anybody comes up with an idea that conflicts what you people had agreed on, even if it makes sense, don't just tell the person that, okay, I will do this. Appreciate the person and let the person know that, okay, I'm going to discuss with my spouse first, and then we would apply that. Because it's important for people to know that the 2 of you are a unit. You work together as a team. And this also set precedence to people as to whether they can suggest some things and make you go contrary to your spouse's desire or idea. We work together with our families. There was a proper coordination with that, so the conflicts were not really much, and it saved us from a lot of stress.
In the course of preparing for our wedding too, we spoke with some of our friends who are already married, so they shared some of their experience with us. We also spoke to older couples, and we sought their advice on some things.
Those that have stay in the game, they say that learn from other people's mistakes. You won't live long enough to make them yourself. So that's why when you have experienced people, it saves you a lot of stress. And we know how these people really came through for us with the advice they give us. Some things are just beyond money. That helped us to avoid many pitfalls that some couples experience in the course of getting married. So for our conflict resolution skill, that one I really admire it.
Yeah, me too. We had this agreement when we started dating that we were not going to sleep while being angry with each other. So we were determined to solve every problem. Yes, whatever issue came up, we were going to resolve it before we sleep. So that there will not be any need for malice, silent treatment, bouncing calls, blocking somebody on WhatsApp or social media. We don't do that. We don't wait till in the night. If we can sit down and talk about it there and then, we do it. But if we can't, especially when emotions are high, you don't want to do anything stupid or say anything that's going to hurt someone. You just calm down and then talk about things. I remember there was a
time when we started dating newly that there was an issue from my past that came up and really brought me down. So Fibz wanted to know what was it. I wanted to isolate her.
I just want to deal with it alone.
I want to deal with it alone.
This is how I have always been.
Yes, I've always been like that.
Take some time off and handle it on my own. Then you hear from me after a
while.
while.
I'm not talking too much now.
Okay,
Calm down. Are you still pained by this thing?
No, I'm not pained.
But I had to just realize the truth that it's not being fair on her, especially as she's willing to be involved in it. Despite the fact that she was not part of it, it's not fair for me to just push her aside and sort my own stuff. This was one of the things that birthed we talking about everything. So whether it has to do with her or not, so far as it's disturbing me, she's involved in it, and the same thing with her. And that has really helped us to handle these things before they even get complicated. As the Bible says, little foxes spoil the vine. It's small that it starts, and before you know, you're already far apart. We would advise all of you that you should do that too. Don't go and sleep keeping malice. How do you want to pray? Now you go and sleep and then you are keeping malice, which will come and press your neck. You're in trouble. You cannot shout Jesus because you are keeping malice.
Yes, and when we went for counseling, I remember late Venerable Ilya made mention of something about this thing, this conflict resolution, that he said, what if you sleep and you don't wake up? So what's going to happen?
You come and die, and I can't even imagine it. Just use every opportunity. There's no time. Our lives are already limited on its own. So you should maximize all the opportunities you have towards loving your spouse, so that by the time it comes for you to go, you know, and your spouse knows that they've gotten all the love from you. Then another way we're able to also handle that is that we give everybody the opportunity to talk and listen. Because one thing with marriage is that you get to learn a lot. Many times you might think that you're the one being offended. By the time you sit down and talk with the person, you might even discover that you would be the one to apologize. So you don't just come because you notice something and you're angry. You just come and say your mind and get out. No, meet the person, tell the person how you're feeling and what the person did that caused you to feel this way, and then give room for the person to explain him or herself too. You'll be shocked at what these things do, because there's something the Bible says that be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. So listen, learn to listen to your spouse before you even speak. Give the person room to be able to explain, and if it's not convincing enough, you also kindly let the person know and insist that, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but this is why this is wrong. The whole point of conflict is to be able to grow, because you are learning from each other and you learn how to become better people. And if you don't learn to handle this very well, you don't listen, it's one person that will be pleased and the other person is suffering. And imagine you hurt the other person and you are happy now. Your joy cannot be complete because you still have to go and console the person. So give room for everybody to be able to be fairly heard.
And also in serious conflict, nobody is 100% right or 100% wrong.
So you just have to learn to listen to each other. Someone might be 80% right, but there's 20% that you still need to learn from and become better people.
Yes.
Now, concerning the conflict that come as a result of staying together, one truth we've accepted among ourselves is that this is not anybody's house, it's our house. Even if I am paying the rent, because since we got married, I've been the one working. Fibz had not really worked for some peculiar reason, so I am the one that usually provides the money. Despite the fact that I pay the rent, I pay the bills and the rest, it doesn't mean that it's my house. And she doesn't feel less of the owner of the house, if that English is right. She doesn't feel like she's just perching, I'm not paying anything, let me behave myself. No, you have to learn to share. It doesn't belong to anybody, it belongs to all of you. It's not my phone, it's not my laptop. That's literally what we do. Anybody that needs anything at any time will have access to it too.
That's because when you get married, there's no more I.
Yeah.
It's ours.
Yeah.
Just have to learn to share.
And even as the Bible puts it, that your body is not yours, it's for your spouse. So that means your spouse has more say over your body than you do. If we can give ourselves our body, then why won't we give material stuff? So for the issue of gender differences, there was a book I came across long before I got married, for men only and for women only. And that helped me to be able to see that men and women are different. You know, it's easy for you to grow up as a man thinking women are the problem and vice versa. So the only way you validate someone is when the person is behaving like a man. So the clash comes when men expect women to behave like men and women expect men to behave like women. And the whole purpose of marriage is that you come together and are able to enforce your strength and compensate for your weakness. These differences are not supposed to be the source of your problems. They are supposed to be your strength. And many times in the course of getting married for these past few years, I've realized how far I would have been backwards if I didn't have a woman in my life. Sometimes I have to really open up and tell Fibz that thank you for coming into my life. There was no way I would have done this thing. So there are many qualities in the opposite sex that if you really tap into them properly, they actually make you a better person.
And that is what marriage is all about, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to make us better. It's supposed to make us the better version of ourselves.
Yes. Like biologically, as a medical doctor, both genders have both testosterone and estrogen. It's just that testosterone is the predominant hormone in males, while estrogen is a predominant hormone in females. But there's no one that has just purely testosterone or purely estrogen. The hormones of the opposite gender in small quantity also help you as a whole. So as a man, if you didn't have estrogen, your skin will be dry and scaly. So somehow the little estrogen also helps with the smoothness of your skin. Somehow you rub off on each other. You don't force the other person to become like you. But in love, there's a way that you bring out beauty in each other. As a woman, if you have issues with men and you get married, you're going to still have issues with your marriage. And if as a man you have issues with women when you get married, you're going to really have issues. When you realize that none is superior or inferior to the other, the differences don't make one better or less than the other person. The difference is meant to augment your strength. So we know that, and we give in room for our gender differences to really play a role. We are being ourselves, we're being real with each other. We play our roles properly.
Because the differences is actually supposed to bring us together, not tear us apart.
Not tear us apart. Then for our personal differences.
Yes. So we have our personal differences.
Yeah, we do.
For example, food.
I'm not a foodie.
Person. He's not a foodie. So if I say I want to even follow his own, I will not be cooking in this house.
At all.
And I will not even be eating.
At all.
Because he eats for survival.
We
he doesn't
focus
eat
on
because
heaven.
Another one is phone. This guy can press his phone. He sabi press phone.
Why are you saying it as if it's a bad thing?
Me on the other end, I can actually do without my phone.
Yeah, but she used to press phone now.
But
why you're pressing phone now more than before, myself?
Yes, I did
you're pressing phone now.
But bros, you can press phone.
It's because I work with my phone most times. I remember when we got married initially, she used to have issues with that. That was even before I became a YouTuber. When I became a YouTuber, I became more myself because everything I do, I shoot, edit, publish on my phone and the rest. But even with the excuse, I've learned to use the phone less so that we could have quality time with each other. So whereas she had that impression that people usually use phone to catch cruise, we are just gisting and the rest. But she realized that I use my phone for other things. Even when I'm chatting on social media, it's for different things altogether. That has helped us. We've had a lot of differences and we're learning to stay together. She likes AC. Me, I can stay with fan.
Yes.
But small thing like this, Fibz will just go and on AC. And I'll be wondering which kind of human being is this.
Even the type of music we listen to.
We don't
even like the same
no, we don't like the same type of music. But somehow we appreciate our different tastes. She's faithful to a particular brand of soap. I am not faithful to one soap. Today I'll buy this soap, tomorrow I'll buy this soap. And then even with the complaint she's doing, you come and see that she's still using the soap, despite the fact that she has hers. But it is what it is. Then my busy schedule as a doctor, especially initially when we got married, I was working in a very busy hospital. So most of the time she doesn't get to see me. And even when we went to Jalingo, as I was in the ophthalmology department, when I'm on call, they can call me in the middle of the night to just go for a walk, and she has to learn to bear that too. I'm also into music, so many times I sleep over in the studio. Then she was with Ellis. Fibz is really, you're a darling. So these differences go a long way in helping us to grow. And there's the reason why they say married men tend to have better working relationships than their single counterpart. That has helped me too. Even with patients that I deal with, they don't easily get on my nerves compared to when I was a single person.
Is it the same with married women?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
At some point in time in the first year of our marriage, we stayed apart
for like 6 months. I was in a different state. She was very far, but we found a way of keeping in touch. So even in the togetherness and in the apartness, we still found a way of making things work.
We usually have devotions too together. We pray and we read our Bibles together.
So it's very important that as a couple, you have this unity of faith, because many times in the course of devotion, we read, discuss, and pray together, and that has also fostered our unity.
As for infidelity, we operate based on the Bible principles. We believe that the matrimonial bed should be kept undefiled. That has helped us too in our marriage.
The Bible frowns at adultery, irrespective of the excuses we might come up with. It's still wrong. So we don't even give any room. We don't entertain that, and we don't come up with any excuse for that.
We know our friends and set appropriate boundaries.
So there's nobody I talk to, someone I'm familiar with that Fibz does not know about, and vice versa. You don't catch us flirting. I'm not afraid for her to go through my phone and through my chats, and vice versa. She knows my password. It helps us also keep in check, because if you discover that there's someone you're talking with that you're scared of your
partner finding out,
then there's a problem.
Exactly.
Yes. We also discussed all about our past. Like me, I had a very eventful past. So she knows about everything possible that she should know about me, and make her decision as to whether she's going to marry me or not. Forget what you are saying. I had gone through thank God for God, since we've taken that vow, we've not looked back, and with each passing day, she's worth more than I even bargained for. I don't even mind increasing the bride price. Then another thing is that we have friends that respect and appreciate marriage. So we don't have friends that will even suggest to us that see this person, there's another fine babe or so. In fact, we have friends that will make it very unconducive for us to even cheat on each other. If I'm even going to attempt cheating on her, my friends shouldn't even find out, or else I'm already in trouble. And vice versa. We have those kind of friends that also help us to really thrive in our faithfulness to each other, and the same for our families too.
And for families, we don't dislike each other's family, and we are respectful towards each other, so that has also helped us.
She has a very healthy relationship with my siblings and my mother. In fact, my father used to love her. It's just sad that he died before he saw us get married to each other, but Fibz' number one fan in that house used to be my dad, because we have this healthy relationship with each other's family. They also respect the marriage, and whatever input they make is towards strengthening the marriage. I remember there was a time while I was in Jalingo that she went to sleep over in her father's house, and the father had to ask her, hope all is well. Despite the fact that she told him all is well, he still had to call me to ask me whether all was well for her to sleep over. So we have this family that are very, very pro marriage, and it has helped us too. I would really advise that before even committing to marrying someone, check out how your relationship with the family is, because once you get married, forget it. They are legally part of your lives. You can't just come and chase them away. They have the right to visit. You to also have the right to visit them. If you see that the family does not like you, God must be telling you clearly to marry that person before you marry that person. If not, forget. Family, a real stakeholder. So the last issue we're going to talk about is about finances. As I said earlier, since we got married, I've been the one earning. She has not been working. That will be a video for another day. But she knows my salary. She knew my salary from when we got married till date. And the principle is that she knows when there's money or not. When you're hiding these things, because the person has no idea of how much you have, you would be struggling. Even when there's no money, the person wouldn't believe you. And another thing is that she's financially prudent. So I'm not scared of letting her know how much I have. There are some people that when their spouses even know how much they have, is problem. In order to be able to save their finances, they have to hide it from their spouse. I didn't marry someone like that. Her financial life is something I looked into before I got married to her, because I can't marry someone that will come and be doing bad things because of the person's bad things. It's no excuse.
We live within our budget. We don't overdo.
Then also, for any financial decision, we do it together. We know whether to invest or to save. We're planning ahead. We already have short-term and long-term plans, and when any modification comes, we still do it together. I don't feel like because I'm earning, I'm the one that has the say, or she has less say. Eventually, when she starts working too, it's not going to be too difficult for us, because we're going to adjust appropriately. Money has not really been a serious issue for us. There are times that we lacked and we're in it together, and then there are times that we have quite much and we chill together. So that's all for today's video. It's a long one. We hope you've learned something from it. So that's practically how we handle things. If there are other questions, please let us know in the comment section.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Especially if you enjoy content that we make. Thank you, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye.